Hi. So, as well as working with the elemental forms and with land spirits and gods, I do a lot of work with the ancestors, especially working with the dead. That's actually how I started my training in shamanism and witchcraft. And I have a group of ants, like they're a group of let's just say rowdy Italian grandfathers. They're not my Italian grandfathers. They're very Italian because they have very Italian accents and they'll speak to me in Italian. Um, but they recently I was talking to them and I felt like it was, I asked them if I could share this information because I get a lot of information from the dead and I don't share it online because there are secrets in the underworld that are hard won, and they need to be, like, you need to discover them through ritual and through discovery, and so that kind of information should not be given out. But this I felt was really good, and I asked them, and they encouraged me to share this. So there are whole groups of humans in the ancestral underworld who have no children. Their bloodlines were wiped out. They may have had like one daughter, or all their daughters were killed, and these Italian grandfathers, who I call them the Guidos, which I think in Italian means the guides. And so my Italian guides, they have kind of like, they found me when I was traveling in the underworld with my rituals, and they've kind of possessed one of my tarot decks. so, so I have a tarot deck possessed with drunk Italian men. And anyway, they said that there are whole groups of ancestors who lost all of their spiritual daughters due to war, inquisition, disease, natural disasters, and whole bloodlines that were wiped out. They don't have any children to take care of. They don't have any children to bless or watch over. And they're just kind of like in torpor, waiting for an orphan, like some of us who are kind of orphaned in our bloodlines. Not all of us are born into loving, self aware, and caring bloodlines. And so I just want to encourage you that if you are traveling in the underworld, so number one, you need to use discretion because there's a lot of tricksters in the underworld, like parasitic spirits that can mimic the dead. And so you need to do your testing. And so when you want to test a spirit, you test it through your body. You can do dowsing, like either through like using like a copper dowsing rod, or using a pendulum, or you can use divination. That's another one. But you can ask your body, does this spirit have a good intention towards me? Does the spirit have honorable intention? Is the spirit virtuous? Is the spirit in the highest alignment with me? Very simple questions to ask your divinatory process. If the answer is yes, then continue talking to the spirit. But if your body responds no, then you know it's a trickster. That's how you determine what spirits to talk to and what spirits not to talk to. And so when I learned, this is a little trick that I learned as a shaman when early on. And so I want to just really, really encourage all of you, when you meet new spirits, even when you have a vision, when you have a dream or something, you just really want to go back to the body, because your body can sense whether a spirit is healthy for you or not. Sometimes your mind can't. And especially in this day and age, we end up intellectualizing our emotions so much that we can become dissociated from our true embodied discernment. So with that said, there are a lot of ancestors in the ancestral underworld who don't have children and who are looking for young mystics and witches and warlocks and seers and want to help. They want to guide you and to help you. Another thing that the Guidos told me is that, in the past, a lot of people who are mystical and shamanic never got married. They ended up becoming mystics, like either they joined a monastery or something, and they've just ended up spending their life praying and helping the community, or they went into the woods and they became a woodsman, and they never ended up having children. And so their soul has this desire to help and has this desire to guide and to nurture the young, but they just never got the chance to. And as well, there are a lot of motherless mothers in the underworld as well. So there's childless fathers and there's motherless mothers. So, or childless mothers. So yeah, so there are mothers and fathers in the underworld. So I want to encourage all of you. You can ask underworld deities to introduce you to other ancestral bloodlines to see if you can jive with those spiritual guides. So there are ancestral deities, so if you're Norse, I recommend Hel or Nerthus. If you're Germanic, Teutonic, Frau Holla. Frau Perchta can also help. Russian, Slavic, Baba Yaga. Asia Minor, South Europe, Hecate. Let's see. And if you're Welsh, Gwynap Nudd, or I think it's Arwen. Arwen is the god of the underworld. Pretty much any of the Fae in the Celtic tradition. I always liked Manon MacLear. He was really good as a guide to help you meet other people in the underworld. So that's all I got right now. But, in your tradition, you should have what's called a chthonic god, Chthonic. So it's a chthonic god. Chthonic gods are gods or entities that can help you unlock your ability to talk to ancestral spirits and to also meet new ones. And so you can give offerings or pray to chthonic gods, and they will help you travel through the underworld. And they can also guide you through the process of talking to the dead, which can be really tricky because depending on your, from what I'm realizing, depending on your human design type and whether you have certain centers defined or undefined, you could be ridden in those undefined centers by the dead. So I have a undefined emotion center and G center. So my heart is all undefined. So I have a tendency to all of a sudden be slammed with these feelings out of nowhere. And it's the dead. They're just they want to share their angst. They want to share their sadness with me. And it's really beautiful. They talk to me at first through feelings, and then once I relax, I can pull that energy upwards and into my ears, and I can hear them. So, but it takes meditation and practice to do that. And but I do want to say there are a bunch of childless fathers and mothers down there, and they absolutely want to help you. You are not alone. So if you are struggling with your ancestry, if you don't know your ancestry, you have access to ancestral mother and fathers that would love to help you and guide you in the process of discovering your shamanic self.